Not just cows. There are animals quietly exploited by the ultimate predator on Earth, humans. We don't always take their flesh. Sometimes what we want is something smaller, something hidden, yet far more valuable. Something created naturally, never meant for us in the first place. Something slowly taken, collected, and transformed into luxury. Some of these animals are bred, raised, multiplied, turned into industries. But others are not that lucky. They are hunted, taken, again and again, until their numbers begin to fade, drifting closer to the edge of existence. This isn't just a story about animals. It's a story about how humans see nature, not as something alive, but as something to be extracted. Not its meat, not even the animal itself. The most sought-after treasure from the sperm whale is its waste. A deep-sea giant that feeds on squid, yet leaves behind something far more valuable than its hunt. Something that can be worth millions, but takes years, even decades to exist. It all begins with a problem. Inside the darkness of its stomach, sharp, indigestible squid beaks refuse to break down. They linger, irritate, wound. So the whale does something unexpected. It doesn't destroy the thread, it softens it. Layer by layer, its body wraps the intruder in a waxy shield, turning pain into protection, and protection into something rare. Time passes. The ocean takes over. What was once a problem becomes a treasure, and one day it leaves the body, not as waste, but as ambergris, floating gold from the sea. Silk feels soft, luxurious, almost magical. But what if I told you it begins as spit? The silkworm, a tiny creature, slowly releases a liquid from its body. A glistening thread, like a whisper, turns solid. Drop by drop, layer by layer, it wraps itself in a delicate cocoon, a home made of its own saliva. But here's the part people don't usually talk about. Before the silkworm can transform into a moth, before it ever gets to break free, the cocoon is taken, heated, stopped, silenced, so the thread stays perfect. Because if the moth escapes, it tears the cocoon apart, and the silk, once a single endless line, becomes broken, incomplete. So every smooth strand of silk you touch was once a story that never got to finish. There is a gentler way, where the moth is allowed to live, to emerge, to fly. But beauty in that version comes fragmented, less perfect, yet more merciful. Silk is not just fabric. It is patience, transformation, and a quiet sacrifice woven into every thread. Ever heard of a perfume so expensive it feels almost mythical? Well, part of that scent once came from the body of a quiet mountain dweller, the musk deer. Despite its name, it isn't truly a deer. No antlers crown its head. Instead, it carries something far stranger, long, sharp fangs, like a gentle vampire of the forest. Hidden within the male's body lies a rare substance called musk, a scent so powerful it can make a fragrance last for days, even longer than memories. For centuries, humans chased this invisible treasure. But here's the darker truth. To take the musk, the deer must lose its life. And for just a small amount, many must fall. Now this quiet creature walks closer to silence, its existence fading, all for a scent that lingers in the air. Have you ever heard of a remedy made from a bird, but not its body, not its meat, not its feathers, something far more unexpected? The swiftlet creates it slowly, patiently, drop by drop, using nothing but its own saliva, until it hardens into a delicate white structure. What seems ordinary at first glance turns into something highly prized. Harvested, cleaned, and transformed into soups and silky, gel-like tonics. For centuries, especially across Asia, this creation has been believed to nourish the body, strengthen immunity, and even soften the marks left by time. But behind its elegance lies effort. It takes time to form, and even more effort to collect. So what many call a luxury remedy is in truth the quiet work of a small bird, building something valuable, one drop at a time. Pearls. They shine like luxury, but their story begins with discomfort. Inside a humble oyster, a tiny intruder slips in. Sand, a parasite, something that doesn't belong. It irritates, it disturbs. But instead of breaking, the oyster responds. Layer by layer, it wraps the intruder in a smooth, glowing substance called nacre. Time passes. What once caused pain slowly transforms into something beautiful. Because nature doesn't always make them, humans learn to help the process, gently placing an irritant inside the oyster to ensure a pearl will grow. The results? Never identical. Different shapes, different colors, each with its own quiet story. And maybe that's what makes pearls so fascinating. They are proof that even discomfort can turn into something precious. In the end, it was never about survival. The more something is valued, the closer it gets to being lost. So tell me, are we part of nature or the reason it's disappearing? Subscribe if you want to see deeper.